Good day, my fellow Africans. Today it's Africa Day, and in part of the celebration of Africa Day, I am going to introduce myself to you, and I want to tell you who I am, particularly why I'm so proud to be an African. My name is Jacques Ngembo Kalambika. I was born in the eastern part of the DRC. I came to South Africa when I was 14 years old. Ever since then, I've been around. I'm the founder and the CEO at African Translate Media Awareness. African Translate Media Awareness, it's a non-profit organization. We promote social education within the continent, but also across the globe. I'm coming to you today because I'm proud to be an African, firstly. Before I'm a Congolese, I'm an African first. And today on Africa Day, I would like to tell you a little bit of myself and what I do. I'm a youth activist, motivational speaker as well. I've written extensively on a range of issues, particularly on African continent, on how we can better our continent. And I've come across a range of issues and people. Shout out to my audience. I love you guys so much. You keep me going. The reason why I'm so proud to be an African today, it's because when I look back from where the continent is coming from, we've actually made extraordinary achievements that we should be proud of as Africans, first of all. But particularly today, I would like to honor the people that are so dear to me. Firstly, I'd like to honor Emery Patrice Lumumba. It's one of the Pan-African legends that we know of. I would like to honor Dr. Kwame Nkrumah from Ghana. I would like to honor Julius Mwalimu Nyerere from Tanzania. I would like to honor Haile Selassie from Ethiopia. I would like to honor Utata Nelson Mandela Madiba. I'd like to also honor my favorite and mentor, and someone that who's still around to tell us about Africa, Dr. Thabo Mbeki. These are my heroes, and there's also many heroines, which I'm not gonna get into details now, but those that I've mentioned, those are the people that inspire me to be an African. Those are the people that I look up to whenever I want to define myself as an African. The values that they have left for us are the values that drives me. And to be honest, I used to think first I was a Congolese before I was an African, but I was wrong. I am first an African, then I'm a Congolese. And so you are there also. You are first an African before you became a Nigerian. You are first an African before you became a Tanzanian. You are first an African before you became South African. You are first African before you became a Kenyan. You are first African before you became Rwandese. Or you are first African before you became Ivorian. You are first African before you became Zimbabwean. You are first African before you became a person from any other country. But what I'm trying to say is this. I think it's important, even now than ever before, that we realize that the continent has traveled miles to get here, and we are not going to let the progress that has been made so far to be derailed by backward thinking. And so part of my initiative and efforts in celebrating Africa Day is to remind you that no matter where you come from, no matter what color you are first an African before you're something else. Whether you're white, whether you're black, whether you are colored, whether you're an Indian, whether you're Chinese, who possess the African citizenship, you are first an African before you're Chinese. You're first African before you are an Indian. So that is the question of identity. We need to identify who we are, and we need to be proud of being those Africans that we are. We've seen racial discrimination take place in South Africa and other parts of Africa. We've seen xenophobia take place, which is discrimination amongst African people. These are not things that we are so proud of as Africans. These are the things that when we look back, how far we've traveled, the miles that we've taken, And when we look at these issues and how they affect the continent in terms of redressing the development agenda to move forward, we are actually going back. And particularly on this Africa Day, my message is to the next generation of leaders, the young people, the youth out there.